lovely ladies, and welcome to CAWC Quarantine Tuesdays. And today we've got a fantastic speaker lined up. It's Bori, and she is going to give us a lesson on how to take amazing professional-like selfies. So welcome and thank you, Bori.
Thank you for introducing me, and I'm really glad to be here. And hopefully you will find useful what I say, but I'm going to have this Q&A session, so if you have any questions during or after, I do my best to answer. So let me share my screen first. Can you see it?
Yes.
With lots of other windows open. So this is what I created for you today. So I have a professional photos with your phone, or a professional selfie course, and I took out some parts of the course. This is what I'm going to show you today or present to you today. So just a couple of words about me. Some of you might know me already. I have been in the group for more than 2 years, but I am an award-winning portrait and brand photographer, and I have been a professional photographer for more than 10 years, or nearly 10 years. One of my work was exhibited in the Louvre and was featured in the Exposure Award Portrait Collection book, that I'm really proud of. And what I do, so I like to say that I transform women through my portraits, and I empower entrepreneurs through this transformation and elevate their brands to a higher level. So I not only I do work everyday woman, and if I'm honest, this is where my heart is. I love to see the transformation my clients go through. So all my portrait session comes with professional hair and makeup, but I do myself. And then I take photos in several outfits, but I do offer this package for small business owners as well. And of course, the main thing is what we emphasize is how to create photos that align with their brand, with the brand colors, the mood, what message they want to convey, how they want to be seen. So these two parts, what I am focusing on. But today, I created a professional selfie course, and I regularly run a free 5-day challenge as well in the Facebook group. So on my next is in the middle of September, if you would like to join. That was a really fun. And so today, this course, so this is a part of that course. And first I would like to talk about the mistakes what we usually make when we are taking photos. And this is not just about, oh, look who's coming, who came. Oh, she's Pepper. She just came in.
Oh, she's cute.
Yes, thank you. So first I would like to talk about the 5 big mistakes what we make. Even I make some of these mistakes because I'm in a hurry. I'm not paying attention, just quickly snap a photo, and after I realize that, oh my God, I should have stopped for a second and look at this. So what are these mistakes can be? Can be bad composition, can be a distracting background, can be a photo that is out of focus, as is not sharp. We can commit a crime that like bad cropping and the using flash. So I'm going to talk individually about this. So these are all my images, as you can see, one of Pepper and one of my lovely client. So the bad composition means that we don't use the whole frame of the photo. So we need to film the frame and position our subject, if it's our pet or somebody else, or if you are taking a selfie, yourself in a way that even though you are the center of the photo, but you are not sitting in the center. So can you see me as well on the small screen? So this is the biggest mistake that people do, that they position themselves like this. So yes, my head is, and the eyes is in the center of the photo, but you can see this huge negative space around me, which is useless. And it just feels weird that I'm floating on the bottom of the photo. And this is true even when you are doing like a video call with somebody. So please always make sure that you tilt the top of your laptop towards you, and that will help you to be in taller position and feel the frame. So what I'm saying that whenever we take a photo, press the trigger on a camera or on the phone, we always compose a photo intentionally or unintentionally, and then sometimes we are not happy with the results. So how can you make sure that the photo is always well composed, that you're trying to follow the rule of thirds? I'm sure many of you know already what is this. I demonstrated these grids on the phone. So the rule of thirds means that you position the head, the face, or the main subject, if it's, for example, a distance photo and the whole body is there, on one of these lines or near to these lines. So this is these lines came that these imaginary lines, to be honest, that dividing the picture into three, horizontally and vertically. And this is, they say, is visually more pleasing. The photo feel more balanced, but it feels better to look at the photo that is positioned like this. I have a couple of examples for good and bad.
When you say you position it on the lines, do you position them where they intersect, or?
It can be on the intersection. Let me come back. For example, so the eyes, as these are portraits, even though it's like pet on the bottom photo. So I try to position her eyes on the lines, but it doesn't have to be exactly on the lines, just somewhere near. And yes, if it's that's the best when it's in the intersections, for example, as her, and her eyes, again, it's on the bottom thirds roughly. So it doesn't have to be exactly on the lines, as long as it's somewhere near to these lines. And there is an option, so I will have a short video for you when you can turn this grid on your phone. So that's always there. I will show you how to do that, okay? So these are some good and bad examples. I went to a beautiful building, that's the Estridge House, the first one, and they have this magnificent staircase, and I went down, I just positioned the landing in the middle, and it doesn't really do justice to the place. And then I went upstairs and I positioned the landing on the lower third. You can see in the lower photo here, and the whole picture just, so it's different, it's much better, and it gives you a different perspective. The second photo, me with my kitten, I asked my daughter to take the photo. Yes, she's instantly positioned the Pepper in the center of the photo. So you can see that she was standing on my shoulder, that she's in the center, and we have this huge, we call it negative space, but the empty space above me with the sky and the tree, and it just doesn't give anything extra to the photo, and you have this feeling that that's empty above me. And while I took another photo of my kitten and my daughter, and I positioned their heads and eyes around the upper thirds of the photo. And another photo, example of myself, again, I position myself in the center, and you even can see that the angles and everything is so distorts the image. My head, I look like, I don't know, I have a 10 pounds extra on me because my face is wide, my nose is much wider, and then the only difference, yes, I turned it the other way, and I just lowered the camera and positioned my head and my eyes around the upper third, and it's a completely different photo. It looks like a different person, and maybe 30 seconds difference between the two images. So tiny changes can result in huge differences in a photo. Okay, the second one is a distracting background. So this generally happens due to inattention, when we quickly just snap a photo and we just focusing on our subject, or if it's a selfie, we just focusing on ourselves, that yes, my smile is nice, but we don't pay attention what is around us, behind us. For example, on these two images, that this post is coming out of this lady's head and the photo is not straight. So this is a really common mistake, that the photo is tilted, especially when we are taking photo of this a beautiful sea and a landscape, and it is not straight. Or I have lots of other mistakes here. especially, for example, this big one lady, this lady on the bed, that this was supposed to be, I don't know, a tempting or a flirting photo, but just your eyes instantly will go to the mess around her and not focusing on her, which she's a beautiful young woman, but the mess in the room. So when you're taking a photo, honestly, even if it's a family gathering, just look through the lens and notice if you are sitting around the table, there are lots of used plates or bottles, and just move them. That's an extra 2 minutes maximum, or what is around you or around your family, what's as in the frame, and just move them out, because that makes a huge difference. And I don't know, in a couple of years time, when you look at that image, then make sure that you look at it, you know, with the pride and happy that, oh, this is a really lovely photo of us, and you're not seeing that, oh my God, those shoes or whatever, socks on or toys on the floor, and we should have cleared that mess. And that's why when you're taking a photo of yourself, and, you know, for example, if it's a selfie, you look through so you see yourself on the screen of the phone, and make sure that you notice what is behind you, what else is in the frame. And if there is a lamp post behind you, you know, you just step 2 steps away, or if you're photographing your children, ask them to step away another 2 steps, and or you move around in the different angles, and it results in a different so give a different results and a better photo. And let me go back just for 1 second. This photo down with the kid, this would be a lovely photo, but again, the background is distracting, so they could have turned a tiny bit that we can't see this camping site. And when you are photographing your children or pet, please make sure you crouch down and go down to their eye level, because that again changes the whole photo. The next one, when the photo is out of focus or not sharp. This is a mistake what you can't really correct. Yes, I know on all these editing apps and even on Photoshop, there is a possibility to sharpen a photo. And if it's just a tiny bit soft, you can sharpen it. Otherwise, you will see, because when you're sharpened, the contrast changes and lots of other things changes on a photo. So you will see that, oh my God, this wasn't sharp or in focus, and somebody sharpened it after during the editing, and so it's not good. And for example, these 2 photos you can't really see because they are small, but if you zoom in, or if I have this printed, I could see this is my family, my brother, and this would be a lovely photo of them. But when I started to edit, I noticed that the focus shifted to the background behind them, and I have an absolute sharp wooden background, and their eyes and faces are soft, so I can't use this. And the other photo, the cushions are really sharp and in focus, and the flower, what would be the main part of the photo, is out of focus. So there is an option when you are photographing with your phone. Of course, it has these built-in autofocus, and sometimes it works. And of course, I also rely on when I quickly take on a photo, but it can easily shift, especially when you are photographing somebody not in a wide background like this one, but in a room or outside. The focus easily can shift to something else that is behind them, and the photo is going to be out of focus. I have, for example, this example, I quickly took this photo because I really liked the lighting on my daughter's face, but I was so quick that the autofocus didn't work at all. So you can see this whole image is absolute soft and blurry. And then I realized that, okay, this is not good. So you can, on your phone, there is a manual focus option that I'm also going to show you, but you just press your finger on the face or on your subject and press it down for 1 second or 2, and it will lock the focus on the person. And on the second you can see I have a blur background, but my daughter is sharp and absolute in focus. And the next one is bad cropping. Well, this is really important when you are taking photos of yourself, and especially if you happen to have a business and would like to use these photos in your business as well. So this is what I'm teaching mostly in the course, how to take a photo of yourself a selfie of yourself that doesn't look like selfie. So what makes a selfie selfie? The selfie is when you are cropping yourself so close that it is obvious that you were holding the phone, even though I can't see your arm, or using the stick. You will crop into the body on both sides. You can see on this lady that it's there, it was cropped so close that it both sides they cropped into the body. So there are some rules but you need to follow it. You never crop joints. So where it bends, you don't crop it. So if you see myself, and this would be a photo, it is cropped exactly at my elbow. So it gives you the illusion, even though you don't think about it, but it looks like my arms were amputated. Or if you crop off the fingers, or crop at elbow, crop at knees or at waist. So these all make, like I would say, an unflattering. So you need to make sure that when you are positioning yourself or positioning your subject, your family, whoever is in the photo, that you don't crop into their body. Or if you're cropping, you crop halfway between joints. So halfway in the arms, halfway in the lower arms, or in the thigh, but never at joints, because that makes the person look bigger and wider, especially if it's a selfie and you crop into your body on both sides, as this lady has it on the right side. Let me just move these ones. So you can see they cropped on both sides into the arms. So our brain try to fill or finish the photo, finish her body, and because on both sides we cropped in, our brain thinks that it's much wider. Then there is another crop down where on just one side is cropped into the body. So that means we can see where her body ends on the other side, and it instantly makes her look smaller. And when you're taking, again, a selfie, try to avoid to crop, especially in the boob line, because this is a wide part of our body. So if you crop it here, for example, as she was cropped here, again, she looks much wider here, while this image under her was cropped under the boob line. This is where our body goes in. We look slimmer and leaner. And the one more really important thing, even if it's a selfie and a close selfie, never crop into the chin. I see it so many times that somebody crops into the chin. I do crop into the hairline, but I never come too low, but never into the chin. Never crop even at the neck, because if it results like a floating head in the frame without anybody. So always make sure you crop a photo where you can see the shoulders and just a small part of the arms. Okay, the next one, using flesh. Please try to avoid, even though even if it's dark, try to avoid using the built-in flesh. Phone or camera, doesn't matter, because as you can see, it will result really harsh shadows behind you. It can cause shadows under the chin. It flesh out the faces. It results big high spots on the face. So if you need to use something else because it is evening, make sure you have other light source that not coming from exactly above you or under you. If you do photos regularly, I recommend to invest into a ring light. It is under £50 from Amazon, and it has a really nice light. You just make sure don't put the ring light too close to the person, because the closest any kind of light source to you, harsher the shadow is going to be. So in a far distance, for example, about 2 meters distance, and that will result a nice even light around your subject or around your staff. But if you can manage, use just natural light. If it's daylight and still not enough light in the room, then just make sure you go closer to the window and take a photo there. Okay, so do you have any questions so far, ladies? I saw there was something in the chat, but I can't see it. Can somebody tell me what's in the chat, please? Because I can't
hear now, Letty. Oh, Letty wrote that she couldn't hear anything.
Oh,
I can't hear you either, Letty.
Then it might be on her side something.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry for being late, but
It's all right. Hi, Eddie.
I'm loving to hear you again, Bori. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
You can put me off now.
Okay. So do you have any questions so far?
Can I ask just
Yeah.
a random camera question on the
Yeah,
iPhone?
of course.
My phone always goes to live. Is there a way to turn that off?
That it, you mean takes live photos?
Yeah, exactly.
Like small videos. There is an option. Let me find out just 1
Or
second.
I have to turn it off manually every
What
single
kind? Yeah, what kind of photo do you have? A photo
It's
camera?
iPhone. It's not the newest
Yeah,
one.
the only way you can do it that let me if I show, because I also have an iPhone. So this circle here, if you just press on it, so this is what makes it live or on live. So if
I
you
just need to hit that every time.
yeah, and then that's the only way. Yeah, mine always.
I didn't know about how you lock the focus. That was really helpful.
Yeah, I so just after this slide, I going to start this video, and then you will see how to pair. I don't know if you have, so just a couple of minutes, it's a 5 minutes video that how to pair the phone with the stick. So I don't know if you would like me to show how to install it together, or you know how to use anything like this. I can't hear you.
I don't know how to do anything with the stick, to be honest with you.
So this is a selfie stick and a tripod. This is how it arrives. These are all similar and works in a similar way. So this is how it arrives. You will have to pair the remote with the phone. I'm going to show you that in this short video that comes, but you just open it up, and you can use it as a stick this way, or we can open up and use it as a tripod. So at the head, I just turn this up, and it adjustable the size, so you can pull it out as wide as your phone and as wide as it needs to be. So I put my phone in, and it is installed, and it's like a small tripod. So this is how I usually use, and I have the remote in my hand. So let me start this video quickly, and after that I'm going to walk around in the room and show you the light, how can change, and everything else. Okay, hopefully, please do it. Yes, 1 second, here you are. Hi guys, this section is all about technicality. This is part of the second lesson. I'm going to demonstrate to you a couple of things with this screen recording. First of all, I'm showing you again how to pair your selfie stick remote with your phone. You need to go to settings. It doesn't matter what kind of phone you have. Go to settings and go and find Bluetooth, and make sure that the Bluetooth is turned on. If it's not, then turn it on. And then under my devices, you will see a list that the available Bluetooth devices around you. It doesn't. Don't worry if you can't see the selfie stick. First, you need to turn on the remote. You need to press it for 3 or 5 seconds until a green light starts flashing. That means it is turned on. So then it will appear in this list under my devices. Because I already used this a couple of times, it is in my list already and automatically connected. If it doesn't connect automatically for you, after you can see it in the list, you just press it and it's going to connect. So this was the selfie stick. The second thing I want to show you is how to turn on a grid on your phone. This is I highly recommend to use because it is going to help you to take straight images and also help you to position or to make a composition with when you frame a photo, that you position your either yourself if you are taking a selfie or whoever your model is on a rule of thirds. So as you see, I turn my camera on. There is no grid, so let me go out from here. I go again to settings. I go down, scroll down, and try to find the camera. Here it is, as you can see, press camera. And for me, it's the second in the list, it said grid. I turn the grid on. I just go out from here, go to my camera, and you can see the grid has appeared. And from now on, it is always here. So if I happen to take a photo right now of this box with these images, so I won't take a photo like this or this, because with the help of the grids, I can make it to be straight, and voila, I have a nice photo. So the third thing I wanted to show you is how to set the focus and the exposure on your phone. So you can see I'm using these images as a model. This is one of my lovely clients who came for a business headshot session, and her husband joined us at the end of the session, and we took a couple of really nice couple photo of them. So let me come a bit closer to my subject, and I want to focus on her face, as more on her eyes, but on her face. So I press my finger on her face until this small yellow square appears with the sun on the side. So this is the focus. Wherever I press it, my phone or my camera will focus there. So I want to focus on the face and on the eyes. I think at the moment, this image is too bright. So I can set the exposure with moving this sun. I just press it with my finger and moving it lower. So if I lower it, as you can see, my image getting darker and darker. If you want a moody image, or really if you are just in a really bright place and the camera doesn't set the exposure right, you can set it manually, or you can brighten it up if you are in a dark room. So it will let in much more light and will make your image lighter. So I think it's too bright right now. So I'm lowering it this way, but I still want to see her clothes and her hair in front of the dark background. Oh, I'm happy. Oops. So I do it again because I lifted my finger off. So I'm lowering it. And pressing it until this AEAF look appears. That means that the focus and the exposure looked exactly where I positioned. And now I'm taking a photo so I can be sure that no matter if the sun comes out or somebody turns any extra light on, my exposure won't change and my focus won't shift to anywhere else. So that was it. Hope you found it useful, guys, and speak soon. Okay, so this was part of the lesson of the course. It was one of the lessons of the course. Was this useful, or do you have any questions about this?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I love that. I already knew even before that I took the course with you, Bori, about all these little things. But what I didn't know was the secret of moving the little sun.
So yeah.
Thank you. I took a photograph of my cup.
Yeah.
I was playing with the sun, and I could see how it really changes. So thank you very much.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Now look at my lovely picture.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Bori, when would you use portrait versus using just the regular camera? I struggle between choosing the portrait or the photo function.
I will be honest. I don't like using the portrait because the portrait function of the iPhone, I don't know if it has other phone has this function or not, but on the iPhone, the way it works, it puts an extra mask around your subject. So on your phone, it's just a small screen. It looks fine, and found that it imitates that it blurs the background out. Like, you know, the big cameras can do it automatically. The phone just imitated with an extra mask around yourself or around your children or however you're using it. But if you print that out, zoom in, you will see the edge of that mask. So to be honest, it's good for fun. And if you want the photos on your phone, yes, you can play with it. But if you want something that you printed out, or you would like to use it in a business and you want it look like a professional photo, I wouldn't. So even I have photo of my kids, and then when I print it out, I realized that, oh my God, I'm not going to use that again, just on photos on my phone.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Can I say something else?
Yes.
I also knew much before, I never take pictures vertically. No, vertically. I always take them horizontally, because when you actually look at them in the computer, you will see that the picture is so narrow and you lose all the other space in the screen. While if you take it horizontally, then the pictures horizontally will appear, they will fill the whole of the...
I see what you mean. Yes, you know, it still depends on what's around you or how big, because the way, for example, my computer is right now, it looks like I have a relatively clear space around me. But if I have to turn my laptop around, you would see big mess on this side, lots of stuff on the other side. So it depends on, of course, on how is your surrounding and your background look like.
Yeah.
But for example, when you are, so even you can see these photos on the screen, but I put it, so I photographed myself with a different phone. I wanted to show everybody how I position my phone. And then I have the sample photo here. But on this photo, you can see that, oh, I have a nice and clear surrounding. But from the angle of my phone where I actually took the photo, you can see the huge mess behind me.
Yeah.
That's my desk, and I even have books on the floor and everything. So, but yes, if we are on these two photos, so this is available again as part of the course, but I have this cropping guide. So these are the 3 cropping I recommend. This is the photo as it is. As you can see, it is cropped in mid-thigh. I'm not cropping into my body anywhere. The second version is cropped at my waist, so you can see, of my hips, sorry, you can see that my waist goes in. So whenever I specialize in photographing women. So whenever I pose my ladies or my clients, I always try to emphasize the hour shape of the hourglass shape of the body. So even when I'm cropping, I make sure that I have the hourglass shape, and it doesn't matter how, you know, the size of the lady. You always can. I will demonstrate to you in a second. So just moving your arm in and out, you can create an hourglass, even though you don't have. So this is the second. The black line is the second option. I still don't cropping into my body. Just this is a half body crop, and then the last one is the red. I cropped into my hairline. I'm cropping into my arm on one side, but then if you crop into the body or arm on one side, you never crop on the other side as well. So you always just crop on one side, and I cropped it under the boob line. So still, this is the smallest part of my body here. You can see I have a tiny gap between my body and the arm. So this again gives the illusion that I'm slim. Because of the gap. If my arms were tucked into my body, then your brain would think that I'm this wide, that this is where my odd body ends, not my arm, but my full body. And this is again the right side for a sample how I position the phone. So if you are in a sitting position, you need to make sure that because this is a common mistake, because how we learn when we are taking selfies, we lift the phone high up and looking up and taking a selfie that way. But because we are using the front camera of the phone, this is a wide angle camera. That means at least a 35mm wide. This has a big distortion. So the closer I have it to my face, or I lift it up, it is going to distort. I'm going to show you when I switch. Okay, let me just switch, stop sharing, and let me switch to my phone, and then you will hopefully see. Turn on the, I mute myself here, just 1 second. Can you see me there? Yes, you can. I mute myself. Can you now hear me? No. Now, can you? Okay.
Bori, you must switch off
the,
you must mute your switch off the volume of your computer.
Can you hear me now, ladies?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to put you on 1 second. Oh, it's not easy. Okay, and so can you hear me and see me on the small? Okay, so I'm moving around with my phone. So first I'm going to show you the light. So I have a big window. I'm facing a big, I don't know, it's a more than 2 meter high and 3 meter wide window. And you can see that I came really close to it. So I have high hot spots on my neck, on my face. So this is good to come close when your room is really dark, but I have a white walls and this is a relatively bright room. So I stepped away from the window. I'm about 1.5 to 2 meter distance from the window now, and you can see that all these hot spots and everything disappeared from my face. And so I could take a nice photo lighting wise on myself. But you can see behind me, I also have a window. So I usually, when I take photo of myself, I don't want to kick my cat, so I come a bit further away because I want to see the light from the other side on my face as well. So this can, it's nothing extra. It can just make the photo more interesting when you have more than one light source that is coming to your face. So you can see I have the big light, big window, and my main light source, and it's lighting up my face this side. And I have, so if I turn maybe this way and clear the mess behind me, you can see that I have another light space on my other side of my face. So if I come closer to the window and turn around, so you can have photos like this, that my phone automatically, you know, brighten my face up, and it looks like I have a white wall behind me. So this is called backlighting. So you can add extra lights on your face if you have anything white in front of you. I recommend if somebody use this option a lot and take photos of themselves, and because, you know, for business and use it a lot on social media. So I always recommend this whiteboard. It's called foam board. This size what I have in my hand, I think this is an A1 or A0, and I purchased for £7 in these hobby craft or art and craft shops. You can even order online or just go in and buy. They have black and white. So this is a really soft board. It bends and everything, but it doesn't matter because we only use it to reflect the light back. So I came back and I have the board in front of my face, and you can see I take it off so my face is not as bright, but that reflects the light back. It's like an extra light source. It's like a
reflector in front of you. And for example, so I like to have the light in an angle on my face. So let me just show you. I have the big window over there. So I'm not, this is how I would face the window. So when I take a photo of myself, I always sit in the angle, like, I don't know, 45-degree angle towards the window. So you can see I have this side of my face is lighter. So in this case, I would put a chair next to me and put my board on top of the chair, and then with the help of it, it evens the light on my face. I don't know if you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? The board is there now, and I took the board off. I don't know if it's.
I didn't really notice much difference, to be honest.
The reason is that because I have the other window on the other side, and that gives me. But if you had light source or a window just on one side of your face, the difference is much more visible, because I already have the other window there. So I still have, even though I'm, I don't know, 6 meters from that window, it still have the light on my face.
Yeah.
Okay, and another thing, the angle of the, yes.
Very quickly, Bori, the panel that you just showed is, what I understood is that it does is like, it mats the light. As you say, your face was lit by the light source of the window, lighting one side of your face, but you wanted to even it, balance the light, the amount of light with the screen. But then the screen to me is a kind of matte, reflects the light, but in a different shade. Not like when we say it reflects the light, but it is like, I think you use the word evens out.
Evens the light out, yes. So what I meant that, I don't know how to demonstrate it now, that, for example, if I turn the other way, and now this side of my face is much darker, is it? Yeah. Because it doesn't, the light is not there. But if I, 1 second. So this is without the board, and if I put the board next to me, so it instantly reflect the light on the other side of my face. This side, sorry, because everything is in my hand now, so I can't show it. This side of my face is still brighter because this is facing my big window or whatever light source you use, but the left side, yes, my left side is not as dark now, or not as shady like without the board.
Yeah.
Bori,
yes,
Bori and Letty, you should ask Dalia if she saw the difference. She's just on audio, and even that is muted. But anyway, thanks. It's very interesting.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to show you one more thing, the angle, how it can, because I mentioned already that this is a wide angle camera I'm using on the phone now, and this distorts the face. So the closer it comes to my face, the wider my bone structure and my nose gets, and the wider I position it, it goes back to normal. And you can't see it right now, but I'm going to show you from my computer that my camera, the phone is not straight, but it's tilted towards me. And with this tilt, I can lessen this distortion, but what the wide angle creates. So this wouldn't be a problem if I use the other side of my phone, the back camera, but then I can't see myself and I don't see what's in the frame and how I position myself. So that's the problem with this selfie camera, that it's a wide angle and it distorts the face. And you know, if it's the camera too low, then of course everything that is closer to the camera looks bigger. So I just lower my phone and my chest is closer to the camera, so it looks like I have big boobs and I'm much wider this way. But if I lift it up, you can see my forehead gets bigger and all the other parts of my body looks smaller and slimmer because of this distortion. And yes, I do use this. to make myself look slimmer or make my client slimmer, because I do have a 35-degree angle, 35 angle wide lens on my big camera as well. And I'm using that when I'm photographing curvy ladies. And I'm using this distortion. This is a secret of a photography secret. So I use this distortion to make them look slimmer, because I just, if you have curves, and this rules applies with the phone as well, you don't position the camera of the phone at your eye level, but an inch higher. So not too high, because we don't want to see the top of your head, just an inch higher than your eye level, and have this tilt in the phone towards you, and that will make your body, because that's further away from the camera, look slimmer and smaller. So let me come back to my table, and here I am on the other screen as well. Do you have any questions so far, ladies? Any more? Now I can see chat as well on there. So let me position this, I just quickly move a tiny bit my table, and then you can see how I position my phone and how far it is from me. Like this. Okay, you can see it now. And so I lower my phone. And so you can see this is where I'm touching, this is where my camera is. This is exactly at my eye level, roughly at my eye level. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody is calling me. So this is at my eye level, and it is tilted towards me. Can you see it? It is at least 10 degrees tilted towards me, or it's for some reason went blurry. 1 second, oh God. Hopefully with time, but you still can't see me, even though it's blurry for some reason. So now what I can see. Not blurry.
It's not blurry.
Yes. 1 second.
It's okay.
1 second, I turn it off and on. Oh, okay. So then you can see what I see in my phone. So I have a huge mess behind me, so I move my phone, I move my staff a bit as well, make sure that nothing is in the frame. I still move these ones, so I don't want anything distracting. You still can see the radiator a bit, so I make sure I have a nice and clear background.
See you next week.
And I make sure that I don't crop into my body anywhere. So as you can see, I still can see myself to my thigh. So I don't see the table. So it looks like this is going to be just a sitting position. And the way I position myself, so I looking at what I'm doing. So I'm trying to create that hourglass, what I mentioned. The two things I need to do. This hand that is further away, I just touch my thigh and slide a bit up and tuck my elbow in. Can you see? So my widest part on my left side is my, what is this, shoulder, and my thigh, because if my arm this way, then it makes you think that I'm this way. But if I just slide my arm in a bit, like I would say cheating a bit, so you can see that, oh, I have a slim waist, so I'm look instantly slimmer. And this arm, if I leave here, then again you think I'm this wide, but I would move this arm across my body and just put my feet on and just tiny bit lean here. And I created the other side of the hourglass here. Again, my widest part, my shoulder and my hip. And it gives the other side of the hourglass. And I just make sure that I don't crop my fingers off. So I would a tiny bit push the camera further away, and I slide this way. I can hide the remote in this hand, so you can press it and you can't even see. I'm a tiny bit leaning, so from the side you can see I'm leaning towards my camera, because if I don't do, that means my knees and thighs is the one that closest, and that would dominate the frame. But because I'm coming closer with my whole upper body and my face, that's even this out, and it won't dominate my feet. And of course I'm covering it with my hand as well. And I can, you know, you can make different position in this, just hand up. Whenever you're touching your face, make sure that you can touch, that's not a problem, let's see. Just make sure that you don't, you know, squash your face, because even if you touch it, you leave a gap between the hand and or the fingers and the face, because if you do this way, even though I'm not pushing, but I'm covering, covering the whole side, on a 2-dimensional photo, your brain will think that your face is this wide. If that, I don't know if that makes sense. But as soon as I leave a tiny gap, then you can see that this is where my face ends, and it's smaller. But you can put here, if you put the hands under the chin, make sure it's not in front of your face, because then this is going to dominate, and the focus might shift to the hand because this is closer to the camera. So make sure that this is under your chin and your face is the thing that it's first. And if you want to get rid of this is our biggest problem, get rid of the double chin. And even though I don't have double chin, but this is my relaxed neck position. Let me just pull this closer, you can see more. So this is my relaxed neck position. I don't have double chin, but if I just a tiny bit push, I will show from more on the side, not just the chin, because this is a common mistake that they lift up the chin. I don't want that. I want the chin and the forehead together come closer. So we are doing it like the turtle does. Let me show you from the side, that this movement. And trust me, I know it feels weird and unnatural. And yes, you would never do that whenever you are doing your day, but on a photo, see, this tiny movement can change a lot, and can, so push your chin out a bit and a tiny bit lower, and you instantly got rid of anything here, and it makes these muscles tense, and it makes your neck look longer and leaner. So, and you know, if you want some photos that you are using for your business, so you can play around a lot if you have a table. So whenever you pose yourself, try to avoid facing square the camera. Always turn a bit of an angle, because then that's again makes you look slimmer and leaner. That I'm this wide, or I'm turning, I'm instantly slimmer. I just moved the phone because I could see all the mess in the background. As you see, my phone is relatively low, maybe too low. So this is, the camera is at the angle of my eye level. Sorry, a bit shaky because I'm moving it. I want to make sure that everything is in the frame. And then you can have these sitting positions. Again, I wouldn't take the photo this way because there is no gap anywhere between my arm and the body. So I look wide. So I have this arm here, but I would move this arm just a tiny bit this way. And I created the gap between my body and my arm. I instantly look slimmer. If you have curves and you have bigger chest, you can drop this. This is how I say, drop the shoulder. So let this shoulder a bit slide down, and then again, these are tiny differences. I move my shoulder maybe an inch lower, but this is going to because of the distortion changes so much on the body and the size of the body that it will again makes you look smaller and slimmer, and this is what we all want. I know. So make sure by however you sit that you have some gap between your body and the arm. You even can take a standing photo. I just going to stand up here. You might not see my head on this one, but you still can see me on the phone. So I, just straighten it up. When you are taking a standing photo or something, so it's again, it needs the camera needs to be lower, much lower. So the camera is about around my neck now, so it's not higher. And I'm just, leaning on the wall. This can be a casual photo. you can make yourself, again, recreating the hourglass with the feet. I have 1 foot on toes, I cross my knees, and here is the 1 hourglass. And I don't have my arms like this. I just put it into my pocket and I create the gap between my arm and the body on both sides. You even can, you know, if you cross the arm like this, I'm facing square the camera. If you cross the arm like this, I am like a block up there. So I wouldn't do that. If I do something like this, I would turn a tiny bit away from the camera. I'm still leaning on my wall and I hug myself on this side. I cross the leg, cross the knee. So I have an hourglass down there. Let me just pull this a tiny bit closer. And creating the hourglass with the other arm. So I'm not having my arm this, but move my elbow across my body and I instantly have the hourglass here. And that again makes you look smaller. I have the weight on 1 foot. The foot is usually the weight is always on the feet that is further away from the camera, and I'm leaning the wall and touching with my hip. So if I would stand this side, this way, have the weight on this foot, then this part of my body comes closer to the camera and instantly looks bigger. But if I swap leg and have, you can see on the laptop how I'm moving. So I put the weight on the camera, put my weight on the foot that is further away from the camera and push even more the hip that way. That means it goes away from the camera and it looks smaller. And again, if you have curves or if you have bigger chest, I would drop this shoulder as I showed you on the when I was sitting. So drop the shoulder down, push the chin. You even can a tiny bit lean towards, I'm leaning towards the camera. My hip is still touching the wall. This is how I make sure that I'm in balance, but I'm leaning a tiny bit towards my camera. Push the chin and forehead out, it's tiny bit lower. And you know, you can hide the remote in either, for example, I would hide on this hand because you see, you can't really see. Press the remote and you have a photo, and nobody would tell that this is a selfie because we can't see that. Even the remote, obviously I'm not holding the phone. This is like a half body photo. And you know, I would recommend you to practice in front of a mirror when nobody sees you. You don't want them to know, but you know, grab a chair in front of a big mirror and then you can see yourself and try different position. What if I turn this way? What if I move my hands and try to nail or master 2 or 3 positions? You don't need more, because just how you pose the whole body, and after that just changing the arm, just make sure that your elbow is either tucked in, so even if I could stand like this, I'm just turned to the other side now, still have my hands in my pocket, but at this elbow and this arm I just tuck in, creating the hourglass here, and I have the other one here, having the gap between my arm and the body, and can have another photo this way. Do you have any questions? Because I could pause. Oh my God, looks good.
I've been taking photos of all of your poses because I can never stand right in a photo. So I need to just memorize 1 or 2.
Yeah, but you know, even with the sitting, so when you are sitting, okay, I'm trying to pause for my laptop. I just need to have a bit more distance between the laptop and me. Let me push it and a tiny bit here, so you can see that so if you want a horizontal image, you know, and you again creating, I'm sitting now, honestly, my body and my feet, my hip is towards the camera, but how I'm going to create the hourglass, so I'm lean on the table and I move my arm this way, if you can see. So always have a gap on one side, Daniela, because now you have both like this. So have with one. Oh, yes, that's great. So one side here, even more push your, oh, the I don't know what, left or right, the arm which has the watch on, more in cross of your body, a little bit more. Yes, so now you created the hourglass there, and you have, and just the only thing, this don't have the, try to avoid to have the back of the hands towards the camera, because this is a nearly the same big skin surface as your face, and it draws the attention away from the face. So always it put on the side or put inside like this, but don't have like exactly towards the camera. So you created the hourglass on this side, you have the gap on the other side. Let me see, just I would put in like this and have a nice photo. You can move the arm up, put here. You can, you know, if it's a, for example, a business or whatever, and it's a fun photo, you can just have a mug. Like, don't do this photo when you're drinking. I never understood the reason, because you're covering the big part of your face, and when you're taking a portrait, the main focus is on the face. So, but you still can, you know, just hold the cup like this is a casual photo, but again, make sure how you position yourself. Have the hourglass here, have the gap on the other side, because if I take it this way, then I look square and big. I just move a tiny bit and I instantly make myself look smaller, slimmer.